What is going on, everybody? Jamie Shaw here on the Absolute Basketball Experience. And on today's episode of Coach's Corner, we have Kotie Kimble from UNC Charlotte talking about the hybrid two-guard Princeton system, as well as the five pillars of the Charlotte program that they have there under Ron Sanchez. It was a great session. He went for over an hour about it, answered every question. It was very, very informative, and it was great stuff. Very excited for you guys to watch this. Before we get going, if you would, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you would also go ahead and like this video, give it a thumbs up, and let us know in the comment section below what topics you would like to hear from next week. We do the Coaches Corner every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's an absolutely free coaches clinic, coaches webinar every single Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And we want to hear from you what topics that you want to hear next. And also, if you enjoyed this, please feel free to share it across your platforms as well. But without further ado, here is Kotie Kimble from UNC Charlotte on the Absolute Basketball Experience, Coaches Corner. Thank you guys very much. What is going on, everybody? We are here today, Absolute Basketball Coaches Clinic. We're here. We're trying to bring a free clinic for everybody to get together and teach each other, learn from each other, try to have everybody kind of come together and make the game of basketball, share the game of basketball and continue to make it good. Today, very excited to have Kotie Kimble. He's coming in to talk about the two-guard Princeton hybrid offense and the five pillars of the Charlotte program. Kotie is a South Carolina native, so he's a brilliant mind. But he's come from his time at UNC Asheville, time at William and Mary. Now he's at Charlotte with Ron Sanchez, doing some really big things down there. So very excited to hear what he's got to talk about today. Kotie, it's all yours.
Jamie, thanks for having me on. And I also like to thank everybody for joining in your time. I hope you and your family is all safe during this time. And a couple of things I want to talk to you guys about today. One, two-guard Princeton hybrid offense that we kind of came up with during our time at William and Mary, actually where it started, with Coach Shaver. And then the five pillars of our program and a little bit about our culture and kind of things that we look to do and build here. Next slide here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. Jamie pretty much covered a lot of it, but just a little bit about my background. I started as an undergrad assistant at Coastal Carolina, there where I worked for Pete Strickland and Buzz Peterson, two guys who've been great for me in my journey, my coaching career. Then I was fortunate to get in coaching at an early age. I was a 22-year-old assistant coach at UNC Asheville. I spent 3 years there for Eddie Biedenbach, who was great. Was really good to me. We were able to compete in the NCAA tournament there. And then I went on to William and Mary, where I worked for Coach Shaver. We spent 7 years there. And a lot of this offensive stuff will stem from there, my time there. Offensively, to note, for 5 straight years, our last 5 years there, we were top 50 in the country in offensive efficiency. My last year at William and Mary, we did something that no other team has done offensively in the history of the game. Our team shot 50%, over 50% from the field. We shot 43% from three, and we shot over 80% from the free throw line. So we're 50, 40, 80, which was first in the country. Then now I'm currently at Charlotte, where I work for Coach Sanchez, who's been terrific. And we were able to have double our win total this past year, set a record for wins in Halton Arena, and finish in the top 4 in our league in our second season. A little outline of kind of what we're going to talk about today. Again, a two-guard hybrid Princeton offense. And I'll go back to, I'm often asked in recruiting is, what do you value? What do you guys look for, to run the system? And I'll go back, and after spending time at William & Mary, Coach Shaver, after his first 4 or 5 years, he realized that, William & Mary is a challenging job. It's difficult in a lot of ways. we realized that we had to play differently. So what we did is we collectively, we studied Coach Beeline. Coach Shaver went up to watch him practice. At the time, Coach Beeline was at Michigan. And we studied some of their offensive concepts. And we also studied the Princeton offense. And we thought to make us different, we really wanted to be a tough preparation team. What we did was we combined Coach Beeline's offense, a lot of his concepts, along with the Princeton. And I'll go back to what we value, what we need, what we're often asked, and what we're looking for in recruiting. I feel like one thing that was really important is that we had to have players that can dribble, that can pass and shoot. Those skills were really important in running a successful offense. A premium on dribbling and passing in particular. We talked a lot about feel. We used the term feel and IQ in terms that we use at Charlotte as well. Guys that really knew how to play. You know, when we watched players in recruiting, their decision-making was really important in many different ways. Coming off a ball screen, like what decisions could they make in those situations? You know, being able to drive, read the second defender, make the next pass. Like we want to see the IQ of a player, and if they didn't match an IQ level that we thought, then we wouldn't take them. And the last thing I would talk about is versatility and size. You know, it's a 4-guard offense, so we play 4 perimeter guys. It's really important that we have versatility, not only in player that can dribble, pass, and shoot, but versatility in size, because we needed wings that were 6'5" and 6'6", that could play the 3 and the 4 spot, you know, that could, you know, do the things that we needed them to do offensively. We want to post them up sometimes. We want that guy to be able to come off a ball screen. We want that guy to be able to make shots at a certain level. But also on the flip side, because we're playing a 4-guard offense defensively, especially at the 3 and the 4 spot, we needed guys that were tough enough, that could guard, and big enough physically that can defend and rebound at the level that we needed them to on the other end of the floor. So those things we really valued in recruiting. And again, the offense, and I'm going to get into some video here, required, you know, 2 guards, 2 wing type players, and a post. So that's kind of where we started. And I'm going to go ahead with this video, and I'll run a couple clips. If you guys have questions, you know, please feel free. Please chime in, stop me at any time, and we can talk about it. I'll start with initial alignment, and hopefully you guys can see this clearly. But we call it 2-guard in particular because it's a 2-guard front. All right, these 2 guards are aligned together here. They should be coming up the floor at the same time, and their positioning should be just outside the lane line extended. All right, just outside the lane line. The 5-man, that's important. We call this 20 series. Not sure if you can see at the bottom here, but 20 series is what we call it. Now I'll explain why and how in a minute. But the 5-man, when we were in 20 series, it's important that the 5-man started at the nail, at the center of the nail. All right, so 5-man's at the nail. We have our 2-guard front up top, okay, and we have our guards or forwards in the corners. Okay, so that would be the starting alignment of the 20 series. Okay, so our point guard, so we would either run 21 or 22. It's a numbering system. And here's why. All right, so the point guard here, all right, and that's at the top of the key, he would be the first guard. Okay, and the second guard would be the guy that took the ball out, the other guard that's parallel to him. Okay, so the point guard is going to hit the wing. This wing is going to break up. The point guard is going to hit the wing. All right. We are in 22 because the second guard cut through. So all that means 22 is the second guard cut through. All right, so the point guard is going to replace himself, okay? At the top of the key, he's going to get it back. And then the 5-man is going to set a wide pin down okay, for a shooter in the corner. All right, and our rule of thumb for the 5-man, he's obviously got a headhunt, but we would tell him to take 2 big steps, all right, 2 big steps to sprint into that screen and make contact. We would tell our guard in the corner here, all right, to walk his defender in to the level of the screen, and we're coming off this thing looking for a shot. Our point guard who received the ball back is going to dribble over here, okay, to shorten that pass. All right, and this is a great scoring opportunity for us in this situation. We got a really good shooter coming off that thing. All right, looking for a shot. Now I'm gonna run it live here so you can see it. Boom, point guard hits, he gets us back. 5-man sprints and screens. All right, we get a wide open 3. All right, here's another clip here. Point guard hits, 22. The second guard goes through, okay? Second guard goes through, point guard gets it back. The 5-man here is going to sprint, all right, instead of screen for the guard. And your guards have to be really good at reading this thing. You can see here, I think this is Grant Rillard for Charleston here. He shoots the gap, all right? So our guard reads it, he bumps it, all right, and he gets a wide open 3. So we would do shooting drills with our guys coming off pin downs. That was part of our shooting shot side of the offense is what we would call it. Here it goes. I'm just going to let this one run. He gets it back. Second guard goes through. Wide pin down. Great screen by 15 there. All right, we got a great shooter coming off this thing. All right, for a wide open 3. Okay, and I'll run that back so you can see it one more time. Again, guard hits. He replaces himself. All right, he comes off for a 3. Okay, now here's the hybrid piece to it. All right, that's 20 series, all right? And we could call 21, 22, okay? Or the guys can just kind of manipulate it on their own. So the hybrid piece to it is now you're going to see here, this is practice film of us running here at Charlotte, is you're going to see how it goes into the Princeton, okay? All right, so this is, again, 2-guard Princeton hybrid offense. Okay, so now we're going 21. Point guard hits and he cuts through this time. All right, he cuts through. That's 21. All right, 4-man gets it back. We got a wide pin down. All right, wide pin down. This is a scoring option. We're looking for a shot. If the defense really shows here, you got to slip. The 5-man can slip and he can score at the rim. All right, again, so you can see where that skill and that versatility, different positions, being able to dribble, pass, and shoot is really important. Okay, so we come off this pin down. Shot, we don't have it. All right, he's going to cut down the lane. All right, the next guard is going to fill up. He's going to hit. Boom. Now we're into our Princeton. And a lot of people, different terminology here. You know, people will say point over the top, point, you know, go screen away. You know, we use fishing terms at William and Mary. We said rod 1 to this side because it's a single side. If you went to the away side, there's 2 people, we would call it rod 2. That was just our terminology. So he hits the elbow, okay? So he's going to the single side. So we would say rod 1. Now this guy in the corner, we give him 3 options. He could either go under the screen, was our terminology, or reject, okay? Or he could tight curl this thing, which is using the screen, or he could come over top for a shot, okay? In this case, he went under. So that's a scoring cut. Every cut is a cut to score, okay? It's a scoring cut. All right, so now the guy setting the screen is going to pop back, and his look has got to be shot first. You know, I know our kid here is not looking at that, but it's shot first. It's always shot, and then it's followed by a ball screen, okay? So here's another clip here. Hit of 21, point guard goes through. We're looking shot here, all right? Back to the top. Now we are in our Princeton, okay? Or our rod series is what we would call it. Okay, so he hits. Again, he's sprinting to screen. Again, this guy he can either go under the screen, he can tight curl the screen, and that's all a read. It's all predicated on what the defense is doing. He goes under here, scripted O. All right, we're looking shot first, okay, followed by ball screen. And here's the continuation. All right, so we pass it to the top. He came off the ball screen. He couldn't score. He didn't have the roll. He hits the top, all right? We're going to go DHO, and we're looking at this flare screen. All right, we're really looking at this flare screen. This is a scoring option. Okay, it's not there. In this case, we rescreen, and he's got a shot or a pocket pass to the big guy. Any questions? I'll stop there. If you guys have any questions, feel free to chime in and ask.
Kotie, what's up, man?
What's up, Chris? How are you?
Good, man. I hope you're well too. Just how long does it usually take, and what do you find is most effective getting the players to read screens? Is that more repetition stuff, or do you have to show them more film to break that down, or guys just come in knowing it sometimes?
Yeah, no, I think the repetition is first. I think the scripted offense piece is important. I mean, we script offense all the time, so they run it. It kind of becomes you want to get it so it becomes second nature. But reading screens, one thing we do is we do a lot of breakdown stuff. So we would do this. So if this was a breakdown drill, like so if we were doing the pin down in particular, we would do just 3-on-3, and we would put defense out there and tell the defense to do different things at different times. And then our guys would get better at reading those screens.
Okay.
I think anytime you can simulate live defense, I think that's such a great teaching method because that's what they're going to see in the game.
Right.
So, any other questions?
Would you mind showing that again? Because when you said it, I don't know if I missed it, but on 21, the guard makes a inside cut to the ball side corner. Now the person that's filling over, is that a guard? Because I thought I heard you say the 4-man filled over.
So for you, Coach, that's a great question. It would be whoever you have take the ball out, and that's different for different teams. Here at Charlotte, our 2-man, our guard will take it out. At William & Mary, we had a 4-man take it out. So whoever is that tandem guard who's coming up the floor with your point guard is the person that would end up at the top of your offense.
So in that case, the point guard made a ball side corner cut. The 4-man filled to the top of the key. The 5-man went and set a wide pin down, right?
Yes.
And so now when that 4-man reversed it to the guard who came off the pin down, he makes a basket cut, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So now the 2 guard, I guess, that got it, so he dribbles up and hits the 5 at the pinch post, correct?
Yes, that's
so
correct.
Who does he screen for? Does the 4-man empty out to the ball side and then the 2-man screen for the 4-man?
So I'll show this clip here. You can kind of I'll go back for you, Coach.
Thank you. I'm a little slow.
No, that's okay. So here we'll go. The point guard hits. This is 21. Yep. 4-man fills over. We got a wide pin down.
Yep, I'm with you.
Okay. He hits. He basket cuts. Boom. Now we're at the top.
He's got opposite.
Damn. Yeah, he's going opposite corner. Okay. And now we have our alignment for the Princeton.
So oh crap. I got you.
He doesn't dribble. He passes it back to the top. He doesn't dribble it up to the top. He passes it.
So he passes it to the forward that caught the initial pass, right? He passes it and then spaces away.
Yeah, so if you go back here, he's coming off the pin down. All right, he cuts opposite.
Yeah.
All right, now 12 is going to pass it to the top. Now he's sprinting back to the corner. And now we're hitting the elbow, and now we're in our Princeton.
Wow, gotcha.
Okay.
That's great stuff. Man, you got to have guys that have some serious basketball IQ. I can see that right now.
Yeah, really important. Really important. All right, I'm going to keep going here. I'm just going to fast forward. Fast forward here to get back. Okay, now again, this goes back to the versatility piece. All right, because now we have our 2 guards up. If I go back here, sorry, my technical skills are just okay. If I go back here, we got two guards up front. Okay. Now we got our guards or forwards in the corner. Okay. Now, so to invert the offense, all right, our call for this is short. Okay. Some people will say forwards up. If we say short and we have a hand signal for it as well, we're inverting the spots. So now the two guards up top, all right, become the guys in the corner. Okay. Again, it goes back to the versatility piece. Maybe I want to get a different guy off the pin down. Okay. So if I want to get my point guard off the pin down, who dribble handoff to the corner, all right, he would reverse it. Okay. And then we just run the 20 series to the other side. Okay. So here, I'm going to go back again. We say short, we're just changing spots. That's all we're doing. We're inverting the offense. Okay. So forwards will be up. So now you're going to say he goes back to the same side here and he cuts through. The 5-man is not in the right spot on this clip. He should be at the nail. All right. He should be at the nail. Okay. So he hits the corner. All right. Same side corner cut. Boom. And now we're setting the pin down for the guard that originally started at the top. Okay. So now he's coming off the wide pin. Boom. Guard cuts through. Now we're in our Princeton. Okay. This time we go screen away. So our terminology would have been rod 2 because we use fishing terms. Okay. So rod 2. So he goes and he screens away. Again, now with this screen here, we teach meeting. The offense has to meet. So the point guard is instructed to set a screen 45 degrees off the elbow. Okay. All right. This offensive player here is to meet him. Okay. We're screening a spot, not a man. We're screening a spot. And again, same options. All right. He can go under, he can tight curl this thing, or he can use it for a shot. All predicated on how the defense is playing. All right. It's really important. All right. Again, pop back here, always shot first. And this is Jordan Shepard, our point guard, who loves to dribble it and come off the ball screen. But shot first is what we're looking for. Okay. And then if the shot's not there, the next progression is an on-ball screen. All right. He's going to come off this ball screen. All right. Score, roll. And we call this throwback guy, our terminology is shake. All right. So we hit the shake guy. Okay. Hit the shake. 3 points. Okay. All right. I'm going to move on here. All right. To another part of the two guard. So we're back to the two guard now. All right. We're out of the Princeton. All right. We're back to the two guard offense. Okay. Again, alignment. Okay. Alignment. This is another phase of the two guard. Okay. So we're going to hit. We're in 22 right now. Point guard replaces itself. He gets it back. Wide pin down. Okay. Wide pin down. Now, anytime Charleston does a great job here of guarding this, they kind of jam our shooter here. Okay. So he can't get a shot. He can do one or two things in this situation. He can go under this thing, okay, or he can really tight curl this thing and keep going. All right, so he chooses to use the screen. He doesn't have it. All right, so he's going to make a curl cut. Right now, our 5-man is out. Okay, we pass it to our 5-man. He is out. So now we are in what we call rugby. All right, it's an Australian football term. All right, our 5-man is out. So big guy's out. We're calling it rugby. All right, it's just our terminology, okay? We're in rugby. So in rugby, we're going to hit the 5. He has the ball right now. He's going to pass it back to the top of the key, okay? All right, a little misdirection here. We're going to go DHO to Justin Pierce here, okay? And we're coming back to the shooter, okay? So the 5's going to set a down screen for the shooter here. Boom. And we're looking for the shot. Okay, again, Charleston does a good job guarding this. They were really good defensively this season. All right, so we don't have it, and then we just we stay in the offense. You'll see it here again. All right, this time we're running rugby again. All right, this was a specific play call because we have a shooting 5-man in right now. All right, we're in 20 series. We have a shooting 5. Okay, we got a shooting 5. So we're going 22. So we're going to tight curl this thing. Okay, Matt knows what's coming here. He's going to tight curl this thing to get a piece of the 5-man's defender, all right? And we're looking to shoot this 3, okay? That's a shot. If it's not there, then that's when we will get into our continuation of the last clip you saw for the 5 would pass it back to the top, DHO, and he would pin down again for the shooter. Okay? So it's a way to get anybody have shooting 5s. It's a great way out of the 2 guard to get open 3s. Here we go again. Here's another little wrinkle. This one here we call 20 series, but we call it pin. So we made this sign right here. So we pinning. So the 5-man is usually in 20 series. We go 22 here. All right, the 5-man is usually setting a down screen for the guard to come out. But again, we have a shooting 5 in. So what we're going to do, instead of the 5 setting this down screen for the guard is going to screen in for the 5. And again, boom, wide open 3. Anybody need to see that again?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to run it back here. Again, 20 series, 5 usually sets a screen for the guard. This time, the 2 guards sets a screen for the 5. For a shot. Okay, now we're going back to the hybrid piece to it. Here's us running scripted O in practice. All right, and we're going to go 20 series to rugby into the Princeton. All right, so here we go. Point guard hits, he makes same side corner cut. 4 minutes up top, sets a wide pin, 5 sets a wide pin. Again, the shooter here, he curls. Okay, we hit the 5, so we're now in rugby. 5 minutes out, he's got the ball. Okay, guard cuts through, passes to the top. We got a DHO, misdirection. We're looking for a shooter, shot if it's there. If not, the point guard's going to cut down the lane, basket cut. Next guard's going to fill up. Boom, we're in Princeton.
So, Kotie,
Yes.
is rugby always a wrap?
No, it could be a reject.
Okay.
So, like, if these guys come together, so I'll go back. Sorry about that. If they come together here, like right now, if this guard decides to, like, come here, like if he's jammed and he goes under and the 5 pops out, we're still in rugby.
Gotcha.
Okay. Sometimes it's a play call. We could say, hey, rugby. Or it's like we're simply running 20 series and the guard is jammed and he can't get a catch. If he just chooses to curl and our 5-man steps out, it's automatic. Our team knows we are in rugby. Boom, he cuts through. We're in it. Ball screen, throwback, shake, wide open 3. All right, so now we talked about 21. We talked about 22. All right, we're back to the 2 guard. We're going to go 23. Okay, 23. 23 simply means both guards go through. Okay, simply means both guards go through. So I'll give you a couple different scenarios. It could be a play call, which most of the time it is, and it can also be a read. So our point guard hits here, he would just go through and would automatically be in 23, okay? So 23 simply means both guards through, or it's a read, okay? So 23 here, both guards go through, all right? We reverse it to the 5. 5 reverses it. We got a slice cut, all right? We're looking at that, okay? We got a guard coming off a pin down.
Kotie, you said that you said 23 was either a call or a read.
Yes.
What would indicate a read for both those guys to go through?
So the read would be if we ran 20 series. So I'm gonna run this for a little bit here. Now, boom. Let's say 23. So we're in 21, right? The point guard hit and he cuts through. Okay. Let's say if a team was overplaying 23 and he couldn't get the pass back. So right now, if 23, Justin Pierce was overplayed, he would know I'm just going to cut and we're going to get in 23.
I got you.
Really good question, Ken. So here's another clip for 23. So hit, second guard goes through, reversal, slice cut. Okay, again, we're looking at every option. Every cut is a cut to score. Okay, you're either cutting for somebody else to get open or you're cutting for an opportunity for yourself. So that's 23. All right, now we're going to go 23, okay, into the Princeton. Okay, so again, 22 here, guard, second card goes through, slice cut, down screen, boom, 5 is already at the elbow. It's a natural progression. All right, now we hit the elbow, and we could go, point over the top, which we call rod 1, or we can go point screen away, which we call rod 2, fishing terms. Okay, so he goes point over the top. He tight curls that thing, ball screen. All right, score, roll, or shot. Okay. Any questions? All right, I'm gonna move on here. I'm going to 23 counter. Okay, this is a wrinkle. All right, a play call. This is specific a call. We want to get our post guy basket. All right, 23 counter. So it all looks the same. 2 guards go through, back screen, and I'm gonna go back to this back screen. He's coming off this slice cut. The 5-man is key here. He's gonna fake like he's reversing it to the wing, all right? But he's coming back to the same side, all right? And he's gonna receive a up screen, and we're looking for a layup right there, okay? So again, it all looks the same. The beauty about this is that it all looks the same, all right? It all looks the same. He's gonna fake it, come back to the same side. He's gonna get a dunk. Okay, one more clip of that. I'm sorry, I'm gonna skip this one. Sorry. I'm gonna go back and play that again. "23 count." All right. Any questions? Okay. All right, so now just these last few clips here, I'm going to let you guys just kind of see some of the Princeton live, okay? Again, it's really important. The 2 guards are coming up the floor together. There's a rub screen, all right? He hits the elbow. He can go over the top, or he can go screen away. Again, this guy tight curls. The value of the tight curl, especially against pressure, is that it helps the pop back guy get open. So somebody's really heating you up. If you tight curl this thing, it just creates just enough window to get a catch for the guy popping back. All right. So he's looking shot first, okay, followed by the ball screen. Okay. Now he rejects. Our terminology was bingo for reject. He rejected the ball screen. Again, great cut by Pierce there to score. Again, we dribble handoff to kind of invert the offense here. We hit the elbow. Guy goes under. Ball screen. Reverse it. Misdirection, dribble handoff. We got a flare screen coming here. See a rub screen, hit the elbow, under. And this is a great example of looking at this shot first. You guys, you'll be amazed at how often you get this shot here in the offense, especially if the cutting is really good. You have to cut hard. Every cut has to be a cut to score. There's more of the Princeton stuff, just live, ball screen, just playing off the ball screen. Just really want you guys to see how it works. Rub, big flashes to the elbow, nice tight curl, shot. Now we have the ball screen. And again, being able to make these reads off the ball screen is really important. Okay, you got the roll, you got the shake. Again, that's where IQ and feel really comes into play. And again, we're dribble handoff here. And another reason why to dribble handoff, to invert the offense, is to manipulate who you want in point or who you want in one above. Like if I just come down and you just go rub, you just wave a guy through and he cuts, the ball handler gets the ball, he hits the elbow, then he's the guy that's coming off the ball screens. He's the guy making decisions. Well, I might want to get our 4-man in the ball screen situations. I might want to get our 3-man in those situations. So just having different guys attacking a weaker defender is really important. So a good reason to dribble handoff or invert the offense is just to get different guys in different spots, get different guys guarding different stuff. Again, great cut here. A 5-man that can really pass. Again, it goes back to that skill level. Nathan Knight was a great big guy that we had at our time at William & Mary, terrific passer. Has to be able to see and read that stuff. Okay, so that's kind of what I have for the offense, the 2-guard piece. There's a lot more to it, to be honest with you. That's such a small sample size of it. But I wanted to share some of that with you guys. And again, I'll open it back up for questions before I get into our pillars. Any questions?
Yeah, I got one. What type of team defensively would you say gives that offense the most trouble? Would it be like a pack line team? Would it be a team like Florida State that's in passing lanes, that switch everything? Off ball, what type of defense would you say would give it the most trouble?
I'll say a couple things. I think you really have to prepare for a team that really pressures. I think is difficult. It takes time to prepare. I'll just say it takes time to prepare for a team that pressures you. I think there's certain pressure releases that I didn't really talk about there. That's kind of built in to the offense that you have to run if there's a significant amount of pressure. And I think like most offenses bothered by switching. Teams that can switch and do it effectively, I think can bother it some. But, there's a counter. There are things you can do in preparation for those things leading up. And there's an opponent we know, film study is a wonderful thing. But if there's the good thing about this offense after, running it for 7, 8, 9 years is that you've basically seen every way that a team is going to defend you. So in the preseason, you can work on that stuff. Offense versus switching, offense versus pressure, offense versus hard hedging, offense versus a low show. Just different ways. I think you got to prepare your team starting in October of what you're going to see, because how it's going to be guarded in different ways. And obviously once you get in the season and you're preparing for an opponent, then now it's not the first time you've gone against switching. This is what we need to do against switching. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes. Coach Turner.
What's up, Coach? Kotie, can I expand on that?
Yeah, please.
The reason for asking is we do a lot of 2-guard front set. So I'm curious what you feel the benefits are to it within the offenses that you run.
Well, I think the greatest benefits, right? So I think you got, and again, it goes back to the recruiting piece. If you have guys that are skilled, that can all dribble, pass, and shoot, you can put different defenders in different situations, right? Like, so typically, offensively, like most people people run ball screen motion and different stuff, but typically you have 1 or 2 guys that can come off a ball screen, right? But now with this offense that's all interchangeable, that you have 4 guards that are learning 4 different spots because it's all the same. Now you got a defense guarding different things, right? Like, your 3-man might have to guard a ball screen this possession. Next possession, he may have to guard a cut. He may have to guard the shake guy. He may have to guard a post up. All right, now 5 possessions down the line, he's got to guard a pin down now. So I think just being able to take advantage of the uniqueness of, versatile players and being able to do different things is the most beneficial thing. Some would say negative that it can become an equal opportunity offense, but you can cater to whoever you need to. Like if you got a great player and you want him to get most of the shots, there's tons of quick hitters. Things that I haven't necessarily shown. There's tons of quick hitters that you can do. We had a great player at William & Mary by the name of Marcus Thornton, who got drafted in the NBA, and we had to cater this thing to him. I mean, we wanted him taking the most shots, so I think the uniqueness of it, I hope that answers your question, is just different guys being able to do different things. Great question, Coach. And you run great two-guard offense. I've seen it.
Thank you.
Kotie, Jamie, can I ask a question? Kotie, first of all, stop trying to get some recruiting advantage there with my man. That's the first thing I'm going to say. And secondly, I would say is when you're thinking about the offense, obviously you guys are recruiting to it with players with IQ, guys that can shoot it. What are some other reasons why it would be good? Say, for instance, if you had a point guard that you felt like you would like to get him off the ball a little bit to maybe come off some action so he wasn't dictating all the action all the time and kind of gave him a break, and you didn't have a great two guard that handled the ball well, would that be a reason why somebody may go to this to try to create some offense for their point guard, and they didn't have a secondary ball handler that they were comfortable with?
That's a great question. I think for me, a secondary ball handler, I mean, like the offense, all you ask, unless a team is pressing full court, which most teams don't do, all you're asking a guy to do is just bring the ball up the floor and initiate the offense. Once he initiates the offense, he's out. So I think it is a great way to get a guard off the ball. A point guard, as the ball's in his hands so much, get him off the ball, maybe get him off a pin down, maybe put him in a situation where he's the throwback guy if he can really shoot it. Another guy coming off a ball screen. I think another thing too, because we've had guys who weren't great shooters over the time, and we have some at Charlotte. Coach Sanchez has allowed me to implement some of this here, is that, I mean, there's other ways to score. I mean, there's great opportunities for drives because the spacing is so good. The floor is open. So if you got a guy that can really get downhill, there's quick hitters you can put in for him to get downhill, to drive and make plays for others. I think it's a great offense where you can post guys up because, again, a lot of times your five-man is lifted. So if you have a guard, again, it goes back to that versatility piece that I talked about early on. If you have a guard that can, with good size, that, hey, man, my 6'5" 3-man is being guarded by a 6'1" midget guard, now I'm going to cut. He's going to cut, and I'm going to look for a post-up opportunity for him. So I think there's a number of ways, that you can – I think a lot of times people put so much premium on the shooting piece, which is really important. The shooting creates the spacing of the floor. But there's other ways to take advantage of guys with different skill sets. Because, we don't have 4 guys on the floor here at Charlotte that are all great shooters, but there's ways that you just have to manipulate the offense each year to your personnel.
Yep. Good. Thanks, Kotie.
You got it. Any other questions? Well, again, it goes back to simulating the defense. Breakdown drills in practice, 3-on-3. We get coaches and managers out there to guard the action, and guys got to read it. And the split action is read, again, predicated on the defense. If you're the guy receiving the screen, if your defender is playing you tight or overplaying, then you just go back door. If the guy receiving the screen, defender is playing you low, he's sagging off, then you come over top for a shot. If a team is really pressuring us and we man, we can't get our pop back guy open. The guy setting the screen, we can't get them open because they're overplaying. Man, we really need more tight curls. We got to get a catch. We got to get that guy open. So it's all predicated on the defense, and we teach that by simulating game-like situations in practice. When you do breakdown stuff, you have to do it against live defense. I think that's the only way that you really that it becomes a natural read for you. So hopefully that answers your question, Jack. That's a good question. And I didn't show any of that. High post denial, obviously the reverse spin, as you said. You also can, I think the 20 series, going back to the hybrid piece, it loosens up the defense, right? So that's another reason why we would run it sometimes at William & Mary, not just for the shot off the pin down, but man, this team is really pressuring us. So we need to loosen them up. I need to move this 5-man around a little bit before he comes to the elbow. So if you have a set or something you can run to get it to the elbow, because anybody can pressure you on the first wave, right? It's easy. Rub screen, 5 minutes coming up to the elbow. Like, you can be an average defender and take that away if you really wanted to. But once I move you around, I change size of the floor, I go from A to B to C and then get an elbow catch, I think it's a little more difficult. The last thing I would say is you can UCLA off that thing. So if a 5-man is denying you hard off the top of the elbow, if I hit the same side wing and then cut, you should be open. You should be open. If he doesn't help, your 5-man should be able to get open.
Kotie, can I chime in on ask a third question if that's all right?
Yeah, go ahead.
When I know you're talking about some of that stuff being calls and some of it being reads, obviously. I guess my question would be, and maybe changes Charlotte versus William & Mary. But you showed the clip, you're in the 20 series and you run Harry to bring Nate back to the post as the counter. Is that ever a read or is that always a call? How much of some of these different things are going to be reads or going to be calls from the bench or from the court, and how much of it are we just organically reading everything?
It's both. Obviously, as a coach, if we see something, we can call it, on the fly in the game. Usually, you're going to call a play call for us was usually a dead ball or made basket. When there's a miss and we got the ball, we want our guys to play, get into the offense. But if we see it, we'll call it. In a timeout, we'll call it. But as your players develop and they get better, they just make those reads. And that's when you really got something special as you grow the offense and you get guys, which is really difficult, to be honest with you, in this time with the transfer market the way it is. But as guys grow up in your system, they just get better at it. And that was a big part of our success with it at William & Mary was, we went 7 or 8 straight years without a transfer, so our retention rate was really high and those guys got better at it.
Kotie.
Yes.
Hey, Coach Nutt and I had a question. How long, obviously, this is different than what Coach Sanchez ran at Virginia and stuff. So you guys are implementing this now. How much time do you spend on it in practice or in the first couple months? What did the time frame look like to kind of implement this stuff?
Well, it does take a lot of time. I would be very dishonest if I told you differently. We started here when we got to Charlotte. We got the job in the spring. Coach and I sat down together and we studied it and went through it. And he picked kind of the things that he thought he would like for us to do. And we spent the summer a lot. That summer 1 session when we first got the job, and summer 2 is kind of doing scripted kind of teaching it, 3-on-0, 3-on-3, and we just kind of built it throughout the summer. And I think it is. For me, I think it becomes challenging when you're teaching it to 12 different guys. That's such a challenge. But as you build it, and it becomes easier when you have guys returning, doing it. Like our second year here is much easier because we had 6 guys or so that already knew, some of the things we're trying to teach. Does that answer your question, Jordan?
Yeah, it does. And kind of piggybacking off of that, though, I mean, obviously with the transfers the way they are and getting guys maybe only 1 or 2 years at your level, and kind of same for us, do you have, I mean, are you teaching the same stuff every year? Is it like a grad transfer? Does he have a hard time grasping all of this within a year's time? And does that affect recruiting at all?
Yeah, I mean, you're teaching it like, with this market, basically what you have is you can't do as much. You can't layer it as much as you want to, with so much turnover. So you're kind of starting over. Hopefully you have some guys that return and you can kind of layer, because it looks difficult, but it's not that difficult when you got like, if you have 3 guys on the floor and 2 new guys, it runs a lot smoother. The new guys can kind of pick it up and they make mistakes and they kind of figure it out. Or you got 4 guys and 1 new guy, it runs a lot smoother. Now, when you got, 4 or 5 guys out there and you're trying to teach it, it's definitely challenging at times. But they get it. They get it. And but the answer to your question is you can't really layer it as much as you want because there's so many layers to this. And you just have to simplify what you do, and you can't put in as much. Any other questions?
Yeah. How have you been able to kind of implement your system with guys that were left from a previous staff? Because I know that you guys are obviously a new staff, and this is a tough system to pick up. Have those guys pretty much picked it up, or what have you had to do to kind of implement those things?
Yeah, first of all, I'll say in 2 years, we pretty much have most of our guys at this point. But I will say just to buy in from the beginning, you teach and you lay the foundation. This is what we want to do. If this is something you want to do, you kind of do it anyways, building it more for the future. It's kind of the approach that we took. Our 5s weren't prototypical 5 men for what we're trying to do, but coach decided here at Charlotte, like, this is what he wants to do, and we're going to sink or swim with it. And that's the approach he took. And so that's what we did.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Hey, Kotie, I had a quick question. So is this your primary attack at Charlotte?
More of the Princeton, less of the 2-guard stuff would probably be, yes, our primary attack.
So one of the things I'm just thinking about is how would you, like, is this something that you can implement and have success with if it's not your primary attack?
Yeah, I would say it's very hard, but I will say, because it's a system, right? Like it's systematic. So I think that makes it difficult, but I think what you can do is you can put in, and you see it in the NBA all the time, like they'll run, point over the top to a cut to a quick ball screen. I think there's certain concepts that you can take from this and run it as sets. But if you want to like sell out to it, like the system, like I don't think you can be halfway. Like you can't just say, hey, I'm going to run this and then try to run sides, like, what Virginia does offensively. I think, in my personal opinion, I think you either, take a couple concepts and make them sets, or you sell out to the system.
Gotcha.
Because you can't be, the jack of all trades and master of none. You know what I mean? Like I think that if you're really going to be good at this, it takes a lot of time.
Right.
And to have a different offensive system will take away from what you do. So yes, you could do it, but you just wouldn't be as good at it as you can be.
My other thought that I was just thinking about is I'm a big believer in that your offense and your defense have to match, right? So defensively, what is the match to the 2-guard hybrid?
That's a really good question. For us at Charlotte, we play the pack. Virginia's defense. And, I think it depends on your style and what do you want to do with the offense. Our theory at William & Mary, and we weren't very good defensively, was the first 10, last 10. If you couldn't score in the first 10 seconds of the shot clock, that was our goal every time. We get a missed shot or rebound, we want to score in the first 10 seconds. If you can't, then let's score in the last 10. Unless we have a great shot in the body there, those other 10 seconds. But so I think that depends on how fast you want to go with it. At William & Mary, we were top 100 in tempo, my last few years there. So we played fast. Defensively, we tried a couple different things. We tried to play the pack. We tried to do different things. We had different matches there. So you can play as fast or as slow as you want. I think the pack line is probably your tempo. If you play the pack and you're going to be really good at the pack, your tempo offensively is not going to be as good because they're going to be longer possessions defensively. I mean, can you guard as hard as you possibly can on the defensive end and have the same energy on the other end to cut your tail off? Because the pace of the offense is really important for it to be successful. You got to slow it down a little bit on the offensive end, So I think it's just how you choose the pace, what pace you want to play offensively will dictate what you want to do defensively.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Any other questions? Jamie, are we good on time?
Yeah, we're good.
I'll close with this if we don't have any questions, but our culture. And I get often asked, working for Coach Sanchez, who's incredible, and obviously his pedigree and where he's been, with Coach Bennett, Tony Bennett, and going back to Dick Bennett. Coach brought these pillars, to Charlotte. And this is who we are. And he didn't come up with these. Coach Dick Bennett did back when he was coaching. And this is just something that he's brought with him. It's been a big part of him. And this is who we are. This is who we recruit to, what we recruit to. And they're biblical in nature. And I'll start with humility. And when we talk about humility with our team, it's really knowing who you are. Not thinking too high of yourself, but also not thinking too low of yourself, but using sober judgment, knowing who you are as a player. When we talk about passion, we want guys to truly genuinely love what they do. Like, don't be lukewarm. If we could open you up inside, we should see a burning fire, a desire for what you do. We want guys that love their craft, that want to be here. And unity. When we talk about unity, is more of do not divide our house. Like as a group, we're one. We don't fracture. We're united. And that could be different people. Your family. I mean, sometimes you got to block out your family. Like, let's be a united front. When we talk about servanthood, talk about making your teammates better. But we really believe the way to greatness really is through serving others. And I can attest to our boss here, Ron Sanchez, is the greatest, as our leader of our program. I mean, he has to be the greatest servant of them all. And he is. I mean, he serves this community. He serves our university. He serves our players. He serves our staff. So for us, servanthood is really a big pillar. And then the last one we talk about is thankfulness. And when we talk about thankfulness, it's learning from each circumstance. It's not necessarily being thankful for, we do a lot of nice things here. We charter flights, on the road. We got a nice facility, we got a practice facility. We stay in nice hotels, but not just thankful for the good things, but also thankful for adversity and tough times, because it's those times we learn and we grow the most. And so those are things that we talk about with our guys. And I'll say this about culture. I think it's a behavior, but it starts with your people. So recruiting guys that fit this is really important for us. If you get the right people, your foundation is set. And these apply to basketball as well. When we talk about servanthood with our guys, if we got player X that's meant to be a great defender and he's not doing his job, hey, you're not serving your team. Jameer, you're not serving your team today because you're not defending at the level we need you to defend. When we talk about humility with our guys, if we got a guy that's great at rebounding and he's not doing his job and he wants to shoot threes, then he lacks humility. He really doesn't know who he is, as a player. When we talk about passion, if a guy is being cool or not practicing hard, then you're not passionate today. You're not really embracing passion. We need that passion and that fire for it. And then Coach Sanchez says this all the time, but we truly are, a counter-culture program. We pride ourselves in, society would tell you if you're a really good player that you should be exalted, that you should be served. And we're going to ask you to serve others, to serve your teammates, to serve this university, to serve this community. Society will tell you that being cool is a good thing. No, we're going to ask you to be passionate, to really bring your best every day and love what you do. Society would say you shouldn't be humble, that you're a good player. You should be arrogant. And we're going to tell you that no, you should be humble. You should not think less of yourself, but think of yourself less and think more of others. So I think you got to be different to really embody these things. So we recruit to it. And I think when you really have something special as a culture, you have players that defend your culture. Like I think all teams with great cultures, they have players that defend it. You know what I mean? Like if a guy is lazy today and he's coming in and he's not passionate, you need a player to say in your locker room, hey, that's not passion. You're not playing hard enough. You need those guys. I think great teams and great culture have players that really defend, defend what they do and what they're about and whatever that is, for whoever. I think that's the case. But any questions? That's kind of
Yeah, Coach. What's up, man? I got a quick question. So during this time of coronavirus, obviously, how do you recruit character virtually? Because obviously, you can't sit down. You don't have as much time to really get to know a kid and his family. So how do you recruit and find out character even through virtual experiences?
Well, I think you got to do your homework. I think, and we all have to do some of this. I think with the transfer market, the way it is what I call shotgun recruiting. It's basically you kind of recruit a kid for a week or two, and then he calls you and commits or not commit. I think you got to be really careful in that because you don't have a lot of time to do your homework to really evaluate, what that kid's about. But recruiting virtually, to me, finding out about a kid's character, it goes back to, identifying who's in that kid's circle, who knows the kid, ask questions, ask questions for other coaches in the league. I know Steve Turner was on this webinar here, but if I was recruiting a kid from DeMatha, we have a kid, Jameer Young, our starting point guard, who was freshman of the year this year. But when we recruited Jameer from DeMatha, we talked to Steve Turner about Jameer. I think that stuff is really important. I think you got to be good about that. And when you go visit schools, and I know you asked virtually, but if I were to go visit a school, after school to see a kid play, I'll talk to the person in the cafeteria. I'll talk to the janitor. I'll talk to anybody that will listen to me to really figure out what the kid's about.
Got you. Appreciate it.
Any other questions?
I got one, Kotie, pertaining to recruiting. What would you tell a guy like me in my position as a high school coach with what we are going on in this pandemic, how we can assist you guys in getting information out about our players to you without over inundating, but giving you enough to be able to help everyone at your level with leads towards kids that may be a fit or a benefit?
I think video is really big. We watch a ton of video here, and you can't really send enough video. If there's a guy that you think could play for us, we watch it. And we're watching, transfers right now. We're watching 21s right now. We're watching 22s on video, just as we're building a list, as far as, especially with the young kids. It's more, identifying those kids, and building a list for those guys. So I think video is probably the best way. And, once we get to know that kid, we're spending time with those kids on virtually via Zoom, FaceTime, just to kind of get some face-to-face time with them as well.
Can I ask one more thing to that?
Yeah.
More highlight clipped or full games?
We like full games. I think people are different. But our staff, I speak for us, we like full games because what we do is we clip that ourselves and we do pluses and minuses. Like I personally don't want to see a kid do 10 things well. Like I want to see the good things, but I want to see his struggles too. And so, you send us a full game. What we do is we clip it up. And again, all the good things I clip. We got a plus in sports code. We hit plus. I really like that. And here's just some things that we don't like. And we evaluate both. Any other questions?
Got time for a few more here, guys, if y'all want to go ahead and jump in.
Great job, Kotie. Thanks, man.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
Thanks for having me. Last thing, Jamie, I'll say is just, thank you guys again. Jamie, what you're doing is great, man. This is an awesome platform for us to grow and learn during this time. So I appreciate you doing that. And thanks again for you guys for tuning in, taking the time out of your day. I want to leave my contact information, my cell. Feel free. If you guys got more questions, text me, call me, whatever. My email is on here as well. You can email me. And then Twitter, you can DM me if you communicate that way via social media. So feel free. I'm pretty much an open book. Would love to help and give back any way we can.
Good deal. And guys, remember that this is a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, every single week. We're coming at 2:30. Tomorrow we'll have Rob Jones of Richmond, and then a whole new panel next week as well. 2:30, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, every single day. We'll be here. Absolute Basketball Coaches Corner. These will also be posted. Every single one of these will be posted during the weekend on the YouTube channel, Absolute Basketball Experience, the YouTube channel too. So you can go back and take notes and do all that. So go ahead and subscribe to that. We got a ton of other stuff on that as well. But Kotie, that was awesome, man. That was great stuff. I'm sure that all these people are going to be going back through and everything too. But that was very informative. Thank you very much for coming and spending your time.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all later.
Great job, Kotie.
Thanks,
Jamie, Kotie, appreciate you guys, man.
Got it.